Have you ever done something so terrible that you created false memories to hide the truth? I am Luna, living with my husband in a suburban neighborhood. That afternoon, while watering the flowers, I noticed signs that the soil in the garden had been disturbed, as though someone had tried to bury something beneath it. I immediately grabbed a shovel and dug up the soil, but found nothing.
What are you doing?
At that moment, the new neighbor, who had just moved in, walked by and struck up a conversation with me. I was just planning to plant some flowers. Is there something you need?
I've just moved here and don't know anyone. I saw you in the garden and thought I'd come over and chat for a bit.
After he said that, he approached and touched my hand, which made me flinch and step back in fear. Just then, my husband returned home. I quickly said goodbye to the neighbor and went inside with my husband. That evening, when I told my husband, he seemed irritated and said I was being overly suspicious. But I couldn't sleep, as an uneasy feeling rose in my chest. I had barely fallen asleep when I suddenly woke up gasping for air. My husband's face was right next to mine, his hands tightly around my neck, his eyes filled with hatred.
Give me back my life.
I struggled, feeling suffocated, nearly choking from the pressure. When I snapped awake in panic, my husband was no longer beside me. I looked at the clock. It was 9 a.m. He must have gone to work already. I decided to go out into the garden to get some fresh air and shake off the terrifying feeling. As soon as I opened the door, I saw the neighbor and his wife standing outside.
Hello. We're planning to renovate our house. We wanted to come over and get some ideas on how you decorate your home. Would that be all right?
So, he had a family. My husband was right. I had just overthought everything. Of course, come on in. But once inside, I had the unsettling feeling that they were looking for something. It made me feel confused and uncomfortable. When we entered the kitchen, the neighbor opened the refrigerator and his expression changed instantly. He turned to his wife and screamed that there was a body in the fridge. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my head, and countless memories flooded back. A few days earlier, I had discovered my husband's affair, and during an argument, I had unintentionally killed him. To avoid being caught, I hid the body in the fridge and dug up the garden to bury it. But overwhelmed with grief, I had completely forgotten what I had done. I began to have hallucinations, believing my husband was still by my side.
Lizzie grew up in a violent family, with her biological father being an abusive alcoholic. In a drunken rage, he killed Lizzie's mother. When he sobered up, the guilt consumed him, and he took his own life. I was Jane, 20 years old. Lizzie was my adoptive sister, taken in by my parents after her biological parents passed away. We grew up under the same roof, but Lizzie was always distant and withdrawn, no matter how hard I tried to get close to her. One day, my parents suggested a family trip, hoping it would help Lizzie heal after such a devastating loss.
Where would my precious daughter like to go?
I want to go to the beach. We haven't gone in so long, Dad. But I never imagined that a simple conversation would mark the beginning of a terrifying tragedy. That day, my parents attended a party and told us to prepare dinner ourselves. I planned to order food and wanted to ask Lizzie if she would like to eat with me.
Lizzie, I'm ordering dinner. Do you want anything?
There was no response. The door was unlocked, yet the room remained eerily silent. Hesitating for a moment, I pushed the door open, but Lizzie wasn't inside. It was my first time entering her room. Everything was neat and clean. My eyes landed on the desk, where an old diary lay neatly. On the cover, the word die was scrawled in bold red letters. A sense of unease rose within me, yet I couldn't stop myself from picking up the diary. Inside were grotesque, twisted drawings drenched in blood, horrifying and disturbing. Frightened, I quickly shut the book and tossed it back onto the desk. My heart pounded, my breath quickened. At that moment, I noticed another word carved deeply into the desk. Kill, with my name etched right next to it. My entire body froze. My breath became heavy. What was Lizzie trying to do? Suddenly, her cold voice rang out behind me.
Jane, who gave you permission to touch my things?
Startled, I turned around to see Lizzie's expressionless face staring at me. Lizzie, what is all this? Lizzie said coldly.
I hate you. I want you dead.
With that, she pulled a sharp knife from her pocket and lunged at me. I quickly dodged, but the blade still sliced deep into my arm, sending a sharp pain through me. Lizzie then kicked me hard in the back, making me fall onto the floor. She opened a drawer, pulled out a rope, and immediately pounced on me, pinning me down. Before I could react, my wrists and ankles were already bound tightly. Why are you doing this to me?
I hate how happy you are. I hate your stupid, cheerful smile.
She dragged the blade across my cheek, the cold steel sending a chilling sensation through my skin. Lizzie, please stop. Everyone loves you.
Love! You have everything. Parents, vacations, attention. And me? I'm nothing but a discarded piece of trash.
No, Lizzie. We all want you to come with us on the trip.
Shut up! I don't need your pity.
My pleas only fueled her rage. She gripped the knife tightly and stabbed it deep into my thigh. A searing pain shot through my body, and I screamed in agony. Lizzie's fingers tightened around the knife handle, preparing to drive it down with all her strength. I truly thought that would be the last moment of my life. But just then, my mother's terrified scream shattered the air. Looking towards the door, I saw my parents standing there, their faces frozen in horror.
Lizzie, what are you doing?
Lizzie, put the knife down.
Don't come any closer or I'll kill her.
In an instant, my father lunged forward, grabbing Lizzie's wrist and struggling to pry the knife from her grip. Lizzie suddenly bit down hard on my father's hand, making him yelp in pain and loosen his grip. Taking advantage of the moment, she broke free and turned towards me, eyes burning with madness. My father quickly grabbed her from behind, wrapping his arms around her tightly. She thrashed violently, screaming.
Lizzie, my love, please stop.
Lizzie suddenly froze, turning to look at my mother. Her grip on the knife loosened, and it clattered to the floor. Perhaps, at that moment, she remembered her biological mother, the only person who had ever truly loved her. After that day, my parents took Lizzie to see a psychiatrist. She was diagnosed with severe psychological disorders caused by past trauma, so she had to stay at the hospital for treatment. What Lizzie did to me was painful, but I never once hated her. In fact, I felt even more sorry for her. I only wished for our family to be whole again someday.
How long has it been since you last returned to your hometown? I recently went through a devastating return that left me scarred for the rest of my life. I am June, 27 years old. After a long time struggling to make a living in the city, I finally had the chance to visit my grandmother. As I approached her house, I saw a man in disheveled clothes hastily walking out from inside. I quickly approached and greeted him. "Hello, sir. Did you come to visit my grandmother?" The man hesitated and replied,
Who are you?
I smiled and responded,
I'm Mrs. Smith's granddaughter. I came to visit her today. Is she home?
The man stammered.
I don't know. I didn't see her inside.
Then he hurried away. I didn't think much of it and quickly entered the house, calling out, "Grandma, I'm home." There was no response. I walked to the door, continuing to call, "Grandma, where are you?" I pushed open the door and stepped inside. The house was dark, with only a faint light seeping through the window. Furniture was scattered everywhere as if someone had rummaged through them. I rushed into my grandmother's room, only to be hit by a pungent metallic smell that made me dizzy. In a panic, I turned on the light and froze in shock. Dried bloodstains covered the floor. Terrified, my voice trembled as I shouted, "Grandma! Grandma!" Suddenly, a dog's barking came from the backyard. It was Tom. My heart pounded as I ran outside. Tom barked even louder when he saw me, scratching the ground furiously as if trying to tell me something. The soil beneath Tom's paws looked freshly dug. A chill ran down my spine. I hurriedly dug into the ground, my heart racing. Soon, my hands touched a black plastic bag. My hands trembled as I opened it, revealing a pair of frail, lifeless hands. I screamed in despair and collapsed onto the ground, tears streaming down my face. At that moment, Tom growled and barked fiercely behind me, his eyes fixed on something. I turned around and saw the man from earlier standing right behind me, gripping a sickle tightly in his hand. Terrified, I asked, Did you kill my grandmother?" The man snarled.
You and your grandmother are such a nuisance. Let me send you to reunite with her.
Panicked, I screamed.
Is anyone there? Help me!
I tried to run, but he quickly grabbed me and pushed me to the ground. With a cold voice, he said,
There's no one around. Don't waste your breath.
He raised the sickle and lunged at me, but suddenly, Tom bit his ankle hard, making him scream in pain. Seizing the opportunity, I got up and ran. But before I could get far, Tom's agonizing yelp echoed. Then everything went silent. I froze, trembling, and turned back. Tom's head lay lifeless on the ground, severed from his body. The man, limping, approached me, his blood-stained sickle still in hand. Panicked, I stepped back and tripped over a rock, falling hard onto the ground. Despite his injury, he moved quickly, closing the distance between us. Desperate, I grabbed the rock I had tripped over and threw it at him. The rock struck his forehead. He screamed in pain and staggered backward. I got up and ran toward the front of the house, where I saw two young men returning from work. I shouted at them.
Help me, please.
They turned around, startled, and rushed toward me with worried expressions. Just then, the man chased after me, raising his sickle high, ready to strike. The two young men quickly grabbed a bamboo stick from the roadside and rushed toward the man. One of the young men grabbed a bamboo stick from the roadside and swung it at the attacker's hand, knocking the sickle away. The other struck his leg, making him collapse. The man screamed in agony as they quickly restrained him and tied him up with a rope. We immediately called the police, who took him into custody. I was devastated to learn that he had broken into my grandmother's house to steal and then brutally murdered her, dismembering her body and burying it in the backyard. Even now, I still blame myself. If only I had returned home sooner, perhaps things wouldn't have ended this way. I had a horrifying experience at a friend's birthday party.
Give it back. Please return it to me.
This story has remained a haunting memory for me to this day. That day, I was invited by Lily to attend her birthday party at her house. I prepared a small gift for her and happily went to the party. However, as soon as I entered, I felt that there was something strangely gloomy about the atmosphere. The air was somber, lacking the lively music of a typical birthday celebration. Lily chatted with me for a while before heading inside. She needed to put away the gift. At that moment, a limping man approached me and struck up a conversation.
Hello, you're Lily's friend, right?
Yes, and you are?
I'm Lucas, Lily's older brother.
Really? I've never heard Lily mention you before. Just then, someone bumped into me forcefully, causing me to stumble and fall toward Lucas. As I touched him, I was startled. His body was ice cold, completely devoid of warmth.
Are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I reached for the glass to hide my embarrassment, but clumsily dropped it. The water splashed onto Lucas's feet nearby. I'm so sorry. Before I could finish my sentence, I froze in shock. Lucas was gone. But what terrified me even more was the dried bloodstain left where he had just stood. At that moment, whispers filled the air, sending chills down my spine.
What's wrong with her?
I don't know. She's been talking to herself this whole time.
I stared at them in shock, unable to process what had just happened.
Ariel, are you okay?
I was just talking to your brother, but I don't know where he went.
You said you met Lucas?
Yes. He's tall, with a mole at the corner of his eye. Is he your brother?
That's impossible! My brother, Lucas, passed away 2 months ago?
I stood frozen. Then, who had I just met? I didn't dare think further. I quickly said goodbye to Lily and rushed home. From that night on, I had nightmares every time I closed my eyes.
Please return
I
it to
dreamed
me.
of Lucas strangling me, but I didn't know why. That made me skip school and rely on sedatives for a week. Lily, noticing my absence from class, came to check on me.
Are you okay? You've been missing from school?
I've just been feeling a bit unwell.
Oh? Why is this pen here? I've been looking for it everywhere.
I borrowed it from you a while ago, but forgot to tell you. I also never got the chance to return it.
This was my brother's favorite pen. Ever since he passed away, I've been keeping it as a memento.
A chill ran down my spine upon hearing that. Could this be the reason for everything that had happened to me? From the moment I returned the pen, my nightmares stopped. But the memories of that night remained etched in my mind forever.